Good morning. Welcome to Smart Men's Business. I'm Manju Bariji, and today is the 21st of March. And definitely heading straight into the report from the Ministry of Finance. That is in accordance to the report for February, which clearly indicated that the perceptions of doing business in Uganda still remain positive, as we see the business tendency index rose to, there was a reduction of just by 3 points, all the way from 58.88 points to down to 55.82 points. Of course, the reduction is just by 3 points, which still indicates that there is a positive, there is still some sort of a positive attribute, attitude towards doing business in Uganda. Now, following this, we get to realize that Uganda actually traded on a surplus that is in February across its exports. We traded on surplus. We exported in countries like, of course, the East African region, which seems to be part of our key potential exchange, export market, followed by the Asian market and the European market. Now, definitely the East African market, we exported roughly about 88 million US dollars. Following the Asian market, where we exported about 71.8 million US dollars. Now we are talking about trade surpluses with these countries, and Europe coming to about 44.8 million US dollars surplus. So that really indicates a positive trend. Now, taking a look at the exchange rate, which depreciated by about 1.8%, as that is in February. When it comes to the Ugandan shilling, it depreciated by 1.8%, and this depreciation has largely been accounted for due to the huge demand of this dollar in the energy and the manufacturing sector of the country, Uganda. But also the good news is that as we proceed, the perceptions of doing business still in the next 5 months still stand positive, actually. If you can take a look at this, and with the threshold, we are talking about a threshold here of about 50%. So that shows you how advantageous really is. And the good news is still comes back to our coffee. Yes, the coffee receipts contributed to quite a great, were quite significant in terms of this, because we saw coffee receipts in January 2024 amounting to $85.57 million. That is a 29.8% increase in the value from $65.94 million US dollars, which was registered in December 2023. So a 29.8% increase. That is quite a positive performance. And now, of course, we see that this development was on account of an increase of that is in the annual core inflation and energy, fuel and utilities inflation, which definitely rose to 3.4% and 8% rather in February. That is from, I think, about 2.4% and 7.4% in a report released respectively. Now, of course, on the other hand, we need to also understand that the annual crops and related items, inflation slowed down the same period to 0.5%. That is from 2.6%. Yeah, so you can see the coffee receipts really playing quite a great deal. So, the absolute question here is, how are we capitalizing on our competitive advantage, being coffee in this instance, if we are seeing coffee driving receipts? In the receipts. So, in other words, in general, it's just about we evaluating the performance of the economy following the given indicators. Now, that is in line with like you can see, the purchasing managers index stood at about 51%. Now, with this, we are talking about aspects to do with logistics, supply chains. How efficiently do businesses get? How efficiently do enterprises get business, and also the rate of execution of this business? Because Sometimes we see incidences where when we have a purchasers managers index that is above 51, that means there is quite lots of orders, there is quite lots of contracts for businesses to execute, and sometimes we see there can be the issue of to do with excess workload. But that is good anyway, and sometimes there is procrastination when it comes to some work being left hanging because there is a lot of orders coming in for the business to execute. So the purchasing managers index as of February, it stood at 51%. Of course, when it's below 50%, it shows you that there is not much business activity really going on. So that is literally the recap of what we are trying to break down here. And now, of course, the composite index economic activity continued to increase from that is 160.3 in December 2023 to 160.34 in 2024. Now, of course, this represented what we call a month-on-month growth of 0.19% in January, higher than the growth of 0.15% in December 2030. Now, that is the trade surpluses that we enjoyed as a country. Uganda from the East African community coming to $80.63 million in surplus. The Middle East coming in with $71.52 million US dollars, and the European Union at about $44.93 million US dollars. Now, this is a perception index when it comes to if you are an investor out there, or if you're a Ugandan, this could actually show you that there is quite a positive growth. So what are the chances of you succeeding to make that? What are the chances that you will succeed when you say that today, let me start up a business in Uganda? And clearly, the results have showed us that one of the major drivers of what we are seeing has been largely the coffee receipts, as we are seeing an increase of about 29.98% increase. That is the coffee receipts as compared to the previous month. So February has been quite positive perspective. Now, given the different summits that we are upholding as a country, so definitely this should be something to benchmark onto. Now, and this is largely confirmed by the fact that Uganda has been confirmed to be a middle-income country, where actually the United Nations is coming out to congratulate the country. I mean, when it comes to achieving this. So what is the guarantee of success of doing business in Uganda in the next 5 months? That is also quite a big. And of course, in the next 5 months, like I told you, it still remains positive actually. Yes, if you having all these ideas of investing, and with the perception of value addition, most especially, because despite the fact that we are enjoying all these benefits, the only challenge that still lies in comes to the fact that we export raw materials. When it comes to agriculture, we normally deal in raw materials, and we are also having issues with post-harvest losses that we incur as a country, Uganda. So you can see the business tendency index there, standing at exactly 55.82. That is 50 as compared to other rates, and seeing 58.88. Now there was just a reduction of 3 points. Of course, the higher the business tendency index, it shows you the confidence in your country when it comes to executing business. It clearly shows you that if you think about investing for purposes of export, value addition, and also improving the livelihoods of the people, it will work out given the economic atmosphere that we are facing as a country. Yes, so that is literally the sum of what we anticipate in the next 5 months. We are talking about 5 months effect from now. So 2024 seems to be quite positive with this report from the Ministry of Finance. It's still liable when it comes to further investigations to take a look at really, we assess the risks still further. Should we say that the risk of doing business in Uganda today, I mean, talking about a grassroots person coming out to execute their business, are they really safe in that regard? You know, in terms of what is the projection, what is the chance that they will actually make the profits out of them? But for the next 5 months, we still see that there is going to be still a positive attribute towards this. And we still anticipate, according to the report, the performance report from the Ministry of Finance still indicates that in the next 5 months, we shall hit the threshold of 50% business tendency index. So that means even in the next 5 months, doing business in Uganda will be safe. Of course, it's not a guarantee 100%, but they're showing you that at least 85% chances that the business will be safe. Well, that is it for our morning call at this particular time. Let's take a look at what's making headlines that is across the press. Well, Uganda enters the middle income country. Yeah, and Uganda enters middle income. Now, the United Nations salutes country on the strong performance. And I guess this is quite some great news that is being put out of there. Well, as we proceed here further, in matters to do with the Member of Parliament, that is Segona, where police is actually saying it has recovered more cash in line with that. Yeah, so when you grab yourself a copy, you'll be in position to find out what is really transpiring. And of course, taking a look at 30 years of Economic Policy Research Center. This is quite a great milestone right there. You can check out that. And of course, seeing Equity Bank officials who have been charged over 62 billion Ugandan shillings when it comes to fraud. Yes, so grab yourself a copy. You will be able to find out here. Now, of course, for the Daily Monitor's case, what is making headlines, of course, taking a look at the United Nations Development Program, which says Uganda now in lower middle income status. Now, of course, the New Vision put it out there as entering middle income, but even in the middle income, we have classes, but we are in the lower class of that's just part of the details that has been really updated with the Daily Monitor. And of course, taking a look at Mpuga Bobby Rift, which is widening, and of course taking a look at tension continues to build in the largest opposition party in parliament. That is after a sizable number of lawmakers missed a caucus called to discuss the fate of Matthias Mpuga, even when the recall is steeped in a mountain of hurdles. All right, now as we proceed further, still in the New Vision, there are further details here that have been broken down of how Uganda is now in the middle income, says the United Nations, and of course, still, I think this now relates back to the Business Tendency Index, where we saw also the United Nations Human Development Index ranking. You know, they're quite, all these figures are here. They could be quite of great. Now, our ministry warns schools of illegal boarding sections. Now, of course, although the Education Act of 2008 empowers private appropriators, that is to open and run pre-primary, primary and secondary schools, the law is restrictive when it comes to boarding sections in the in the pre-primary section. So that is the ministry coming out basing on that to warn over the boarding sections for the schools. Now, of course, taking a look at Maiga here, Charles Peter Maiga signing the Youth Pact with the Duke of Edinburgh. You know, Edinburgh is here. So when you grab yourself a copy of the New Vision, you will be able to find out what is really transpiring. I mean, when it comes to the Katikkiro of Uganda, the Prime Minister coming out to pursue this line. All right, now, of course, a government to register Anglican Church land to end wrangles. Of course, land grabbing has been quite such a great issue in the country, Uganda. And now, of course, as I switch further into the daily monitor, of course, taking a look at the heat wave, the cost of keeping cool in South Sudan. Of course, countries ended up heading into, the country ended up heading into a lockdown due to the heat. Now, of course, taking a look here at the various parts of Juba, city scorched by the burning sunshine, and the heat waves forced the government to close schools in the country. Yes, due to that perspective. Now, of course, activists here in Parliament, of course, are seeing about the cash saga faced rates. Activists in Parliament, cash saga, are facing the rates in line with that. So you grab yourself a copy and you'll find these further. And of course, how we see Buganda Kingdom and the British Royal partner to skill the youth. Yes, the Buganda Kingdom partnering in that way to equip the young children as one of the ways to, to curb unemployment in the country. Now, of course, taking a look at the Rubaga deputy RCC ignored the caution 4 times, and of course saves the office of the president in line with that. Now, of course, I'm going to be exchanging this. Of course, when I cross over to the New Vision, clearly seeing something here to do with oil and gas, about 7 trillion Ugandan shillings approved. That is there for the local farms. Yes, so entities interested in supplying the sector are advised to update their details. So in other words, you need to be formal for you to participate into these businesses. You need to be registered on the national supplier database of the country, Uganda. Well, of course, taking a look here at the Nyanji head teacher that has been appointed as a commissioner. Now, congratulations to her in regards to that new journey. Now, of course, going back to Kayanja's case, as we see protests, defense protests, the forensic report. Yeah, so you'll get to find out further details as you grab yourself a copy of the new Vision. All right, now, of course, I'm seeing a number of comments here in the comment section of the New Vision. And of course, knowing that Palm Sunday, Holy Week, and the symbolism of the palm branches, you'll find out that, because we are probably heading into that. Now, somebody here says that it is citizens' right, duty to demand accountability. Yeah, of course, because we pay the taxes for everything, and we pay them in with the anticipation of better services. And somebody here tells you, you as a citizen, you have to hold the authorities accountable to how that our funds are really utilized. Now, of course, there is also something here in the business vision. Women, somebody says that women can sustain business empires. This is according to the opinions of the experts. Yes. And now there is a big question here. Can Uganda's family businesses last generations? That is quite a key question to find out that, because we hardly see generations in Uganda, families, strictly Ugandan families, transiting at least the 4th generation in line with that. But this has an underlying factors that come along with that. But that's the question. Can Uganda's family businesses last for generation? Now, that definitely comes back to how you ground this business, how you ground your successors to run this business. Now, from the perspective side here in the Daily Monitor, we see here how artificial intelligence can solve problems faced by small-scale farmers. Now, artificial intelligence-enabled models can link with weather forecasts, with the dynamic soil conditions, enabling farmers to leverage that is the associated AI predictive analysis to intelligently select crops and select crops and the schedule the planting times. This is a report here. So small-scale farmers seeing how, artificial intelligence, last time we had what we called the automated weather station that is quite vital for farmers. Before you wait for the weather forecast, you can get the latest information aligned with that. And guess that brings us to the end of our press brief. Now we go into the traffic straight here. Coming live here at the Ntinda Bukoto, that is the Kirab Road junction. Yeah, we are observing the Ntinda Bukoto route, and I'm seeing quite a huge fleet of vehicles moving in there, coming from the Bukoto side, and some are proceeding through the Lugogo bypass, others are passing via the Kirab Road and heading to the different destinations. Yes, now you know that this is a place that is both commercial and residential. Yeah, people leave the city to go back rest that side. At the same time, people leave the city to go work that side because they have shops, they have jobs, there are companies that are working in there. But yeah, on some days, most especially on Mondays, it is largely congested. But according to the look of things here, there is quite some motion, so you'll have to be patient for just about 5 minutes before you can, set free to proceed into other given destinations. So you can see far away from the junction there, Ntinda Bukoto Road. Of course, as you proceed that way, you land, you go straight up to, you link up with the Naguru side, up to the Straight Shack, almost. Yes, but you have to be just a little bit patient. Just a few, a few vehicles here. It, of course, when you take a look at it when you're into this jam, it looks scary, but it's in motion. It's slightly congested, so you'll have to be patient for just about 5 to 7 minutes. So it's not really a free lane as such. There is some little bit of congestion in there, but it's if you're patient enough, you will be able to proceed through. And of course, this cuts across. It's adjacent to the Lugogo bypass. We are talking about that is also close there. We have the Bukoto Street, Kanjucha Street. All those can be amazing shortcuts for you to head to other different destinations. So you can see, and it seems like the time lapse when you compare the time these vehicles are held, it's not really very long. It's just a few minutes, and later they are set free to head to other given destinations. So you can see it from that angle and perspective. Yeah, so some vehicles are proceeding through the Kirab Road and heading to probably towards Acacia Mall, close to the Bukoto roundabout, proceed to Mulago, and according to where your destination is. But if you're heading to Wandegea, I can guarantee you that, and you're coming in from Ntinda Bukoto, well, you can get to start your journey at this point in time. But the only worry comes in, we are not certain of what the Mulago side is like, most especially that roundabout section. Now switching closer to the Lugogo bypass. Yes, to the Lugogo bypass here. Like I told you, along the Lugogo bypass, we have the Bukoto route, which can link you straight to Kamocha roundabout and make a shortcut. You can land through the Kanjucha Street. Yeah, seeing vehicles here being held, it's rarely do we have such a thick fleet, but it's in motion. It's not something to scare you. Coming in, if you're coming in from Lugogo and you're coming to Ntinda Bukoto side. Actually, there are options. You can choose to use the Ntinda Nakawa Road and land in there, or you can just make here a shortcut. Depending on your residence, probably you're coming in from Bugolobi and you're planning to head to Ntinda, Bukoto, Chisasi side. Well, the Lugogo bypass would be an ideal perspective, but I'm seeing quite a number of vehicles this time around here, but the time at which these vehicles are held is not really very long, so you'll have just to be patient for a while. Well, that is it from the traffic updates this morning. For now, Smart Means Business takes a break, and of course we are returning with the Karibu East Africa and international updates. Stick around.
Smart 24, driving business.